What's good, Internet? My name is Attack Slug, and welcome back to WWE SmackDown. Here comes the Fiend, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It is the Power Trip versus the Corporation. Let's see how things pan out today on the show. The Rock and Trish are in the ring. Let me introduce the most intelligent and sophisticated woman in the WWE, Trish Stratus. Thanks, Rock, but you forget one thing. I'm the sexiest diva in all of the WWE. That's right, the Corporation has the sexiest diva in the WWE. Victoria, tonight, you and I are gonna have a mixed match, and I'm gonna kick your butt. Trish wants a match. Mixed tag team rules. I hope it's they don't do mixed tag team bra and panties matches. King, relax. I'm not saying you couldn't do that with the dudes in bra and panties. I'm just saying they don't do that. Is anybody backstage? Yes. Hey, Rock. Before the match, let's you and me have a chat. Let's get fiendy. I was hoping you'd stop by. Him. I owe you a beating for what you did last week. And RVD, oh no, it's a setup, it's a trap. It's a trap. So tonight, RVD is gonna fight on my behalf. Yeah, man, I wanna see you try to beat me down. I'm so high right now. Is that supposed to scare me? Be prepared. Alright, Lion King. At least it's not 2-on-1, I guess is the one thing we can say here about this particular contest, but yes, welcome to a fine Thursday. About to be extra fine once this PS5 gets here, so I'm going to try and keep things a little bit short today in the program. But it is Thursday, which means that AEW was last night versus NXT, as things tend to be, as the Fiend is fiending up here and says, "You, Rob Van Dam, you. Punch you again and again and again and again." So, let's start with NXT. Gargano had a wheel, his own wheel. A wheel he rigged to say, I'm going to beat this curse. Who's going to challenge me for this NXT North American title? And I'm going to defend it successfully and not fail it with that. And it was Leon Ruff, who has been, a jobber. And he was in Evolve before this. And shock and awe at the interference, at the distraction from one Damian Priest, we had a 1-2-3 kid type scenario here, where yes, Leon Ruff is your new North American champion. That was a wild way to have that show start. I was like, alright, he'll bring out a jobber and then beat him handily, and then that'll be the story. But no, I didn't expect a Santino type, guess what, he won the belt. That's crazy. And so yeah, and then he obviously got in a car and got out of there real quick, because that was going to be a problem for him if Gargano got his hands on him. So, that result stands as per Mr. William Regal. We had Escobar beating Atlas. The Xia Li thing continued here in an interesting fashion, in that Raquel Gonzalez was out there for that match with Xia Li, who was not there. Instead, out comes Boa with saying, hey, she's not going to be here, it's not going to happen for reasons, right? And so Raquel takes it out on Boa, and then a dragon starts swirling on the Capital Wrestling Tron there, and out comes an old Asian man to give a note to Boa, and good job, RVD, Fiendy gonna fly, and he botched it. Gave a note to him, put a marker in his hand in ash, and then walked away as he was. What was any of that? Where is any of this leading? Are they going to introduce somebody new in here? And that's what this is all for. It was some kind of a mysterious debut. I don't know. And RVD, after that giant fall, still kicks out. Alright. Respect, RVD. Respect. You earned it. Just a little bit here from The Fiend. But I'm still gonna beat ya, because that's what I do. So, beyond that, tossing him, beyond that, Candice fought Toni Storm, and they had the mystery individual, right? And guess what? It was, as we thought, Indy Hartwell, back from her quarantine from Corona, because that was kind of why she wasn't at Halloween Havoc, right? So she is back and officially unveiled for that whole thing, as we knew it would be. But again, they keep having these outbreaks, they keep having problems there. So they got lucky it was Halloween. And that's what you get, Corporation, for messing with The Fiend. Let's go to the show. Booker and Flair, Steiner, Jericho versus Rock and Goldberg, and The Fiend and Victoria versus RVD, who I just beat up backstage, and Trish Stratus. So let's see who wins here. Woo! Nature Boy styling and profiling. Then hopefully the power trip continues to trip here. Nope! Sorry, The Rock pinned Scott Steiner. Fiendy and Victoria, let's get it done. We must avenge the honor of our faction. So, Thatcher fought Loomis and won because of a Cameron Grimes distraction, right? And then, of course, Grimes attacks Loomis after the match, but he discovered the secret. You cover his head, you can't see his creepy eyes, and you're going to get to be able to beat him up more. So, will this lead to a blindfold match? We haven't had one of those in, like, decades. And honestly, typically they aren't very good, but are we going to have that with each man having a sack over their head in a match? It could happen. Like, I could see Triple H being an old school Mark doing that kind of match. Would not surprise me. And we had the Kings of NXT in your tag team title main event, defending against the former champions Breezango and retaining against Breezango, but Drake Maverick came in to try to avenge them beating up Dane. So I see before we get that match between the Kings and Undisputed Era, we will totally have the Kings versus Breezango, Dane, and Drake. That's going to happen at some point. That wouldn't be a War Games, but, you know, at some point. Perhaps as a warm-up for that eventual 4-on-4 match, which just might be a War Games. I don't know. Could happen. Your current reigning, defending, undisputed women's champion in the building. Now, over on AEW, what important happened? Brian Cage beat Matt Sydal for that FTW championship, and Cody Rhodes came out to cut a promo on what's next for the American Nightmare. And we had him interrupted by somebody I've never seen before in my life. I think her name was Jade, right? And she came out and pretty much ran down Cody in a very slow and robotic promo, often pausing to collect her thoughts. I guess, look, it was not a good promo, but we learned that, I guess because Cody called himself the Giant Killer, that she represents Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaq wants to fight Cody for reasons. The same Shaq who was ducking the Big Show for how long? When Big Show got into amazing shape and wanted to fight Shaq at Mania. And now Shaq wants to fight. I mean, look, I understand. TNT, that makes sense, right? The whole thing with basketball and everything else on TNT. I get that. That's a very clear throughput. But the man who's been ducking the Big Show now wants to fight somebody way smaller than him. Just makes Shaq look lame. And also, I still, even with the Big Show and everything there and the spectacle, I don't want to see Shaq wrestling. Like, I didn't need to see him in that Battle Royal a few years back. I don't need to see Shaq in the wrestling ring. Sorry, that's just not interesting to me. Like, I didn't want to see Tyson. I don't want to see Shaq. Like, no. I'm sorry. The only one at this point I want to see is Pat McAfee, who actually did an amazing job. But besides that, I'm good. I'm good on all of that. And I can't see because my freaking TV went out again. I hate this TV. SmackDown move from Victoria. Amazing. Amazing on Rob Van Dam. I did not even think it possible. Gory special. And RVD. Referee. Out of position. Trish breaks it up. That's tag team wrestling, folks. But RVD, you're going down. Batista. Boom. I didn't mean to tag you in, but okay. Sure. Can she... Rope break, she says. Rope break. All the things she says. All the things she says. 2. Only it. Okay, sure. Look, RVD. Look. I get it. I understand. It's too bad. It's so sad. Victoria is going to mess you up. So, we learned that Moxley will defend that AEW World title against the #1 contender, Kenny Omega, in December. December the 2nd on Dynamite will be that matchup. So, now that to me says we might see a new champion, because my assumption is that Mox is going to work New Japan in January and drop that US title. They've let him be the champion. So at that point, if he's still the champion, then at that point he has to defend it, and I don't see him losing while he's still AEW champion. So I see Omega winning that match. But we shall see. Now, there was that bunkhouse match where the Natural Nightmares won, right? Which was cool. But I'm starting to feel at certain points in AEW like Jim Cornette, where you do an amazing, death-defying move that should have been the finish. And QT with the elbow off the ladder, that should have been the finish. Like, come on. What are you doing now? Seriously. Also, RVD. Torture rack. Torture rack. Neck breaker. Nope. Yeah, alright, sure. Fiend. Get it done, Fiend. Shut it down. Shut it down. Tap out, RVD. And we're done. He's up. Alright, there we go. Now, next week, MJF and the Inner Circle are going to Vegas. Is that a poor choice during a pandemic? Of course. Are they going to do it anyway? Of course. Not the mixed tag team to mess with. That was a very interesting match. Now, my bus, Vince. Leave my bus alone. But I want you to see something a little bit more interesting than that. Rock, are you ready? I said, are you ready? My bus, the Powership Express. No. Yep. Just like the DX bus. My poor bus. I can't afford a new one. Wow. Any idea how much that cost them? It's definitely out of commission. Him is not happy about this, and he'll definitely be seeking revenge. But I still get 2 SP. So once this story is done at the pay-per-view, then I can challenge for that IC title. But it's only the 4th week, and we're not quite there yet. And today is done, because again, that PS5 should be here quite soon. But the end of Dynamite, right? I wondered why in the blue hell would you have, once again, Penta and Rey, considering they weren't in a tournament, so why would they fight? And this was to get over the fact that they're having this infighting, right? And Eddie Kingston is the reason for that infighting. And guess who came back at the end of the show? Pac was back, and I was super happy to see him back. And they brought up that, hey, before this whole pandemic thing started, we had Pac and the Lucha Bros, and they were called Death Triangle. So Pac and Eddie Kingston is going to be the thing here with this implosion of the Lucha Bros, and that should be awesome. I'm looking forward to that as it unfolds. But I'm Attack Slug. Thanks for watching. More videos right here. See you next time. And I'm out.